y'all. Welcome to episode 229 of Consignment Chats, aka C Chats, where today we've got something, controversial to talk about, emotional roller coaster of feedback. We have done previous episodes on feedback before, but we're going to dive deeper. So hang on. Hot topic. I don't know, where we might get some good comments. We might get some angry comments, but it's been a topic. We've had some people in our community discuss this with us, so we're about to dive in.
Mm-hmm. So
ready,
give us your feedback on feedback, folks. We can handle it.
Look at her. Look at her. Anyway, but before we get that, I want to talk about our week, because we're in the midst, as we record this, of Listapalooza week. Listapalooza week. We're in a Listapalooza. Y'all, our people are amazing. Amazing. So we're doing a Listapalooza. If you don't know all about it, you can refer to one of our previous episodes where we talk about the rules and all. This one ends the day this episode is out. So we record on Monday. This goes out tomorrow on Tuesday. That is our final day of this Listapalooza. But if you missed, do not be sad. Do not cry, because guess what? There'll be another one before you know it, because our people do not let us go too long without another Listapalooza. They start poking, and then the poking gets to anger, and then we're like, okay.
We take that feedback.
Yeah.
So catch our Wednesday live. We will be announcing the winners. You can get a feel for the community and support and fun we have during a Listapalooza. Come join us. Check that out. It'll be a lot of fun.
I had a great weekend, because we do open up our co-working rooms to everybody in our free Patreon that's involved during the week. You don't have to be a paid member to come in the co-working space. Met some new people. That was a ton of fun. But y'all, it's the inspiration that I love. I mean, literally the inspiration. We have a new friend that has not made it to a co-working room, but she's been in the comments, and she had back surgery and found us randomly, okay, and has been having a hard time because she can't find the right position to work on her computer, and she's trying to figure that out. She's been in a lot of pain after having this fusion, which I get. My cousin Poppy went through it. My cousin, it's horrible. But she was like, I'm so glad I found you guys in a random search, and I'm joining. However, I pre-photoed some of my items because I knew I was having surgery and I wouldn't be able to photograph, and I know my listings won't count. And I went, oh no, your listings count. In fact, you get double.
No, you don't.
Right, no double points, but your listings count, my friend, because that was good prepping for a real life situation. And that goes
amazing.
Yeah, so she put her numbers in this morning and was like, I can't believe I actually listed 7 items. It was so much more than I thought I'd be able to do. And I literally, I'm tearing up, because we have so many people on our Patreon that we talk to that go through life struggles. And we have so many people, our friend Kathy, that's been through a lot of life struggles, and she has pushed through and taken care of herself up. I mean, when I have these bad mood days, I have to think about these people and realize, girl, get over yourself. These are real life major issues that these amazing people are working through. And our normal Listapaloozas are inspirational when you're working together and it's inspiring. Right. But to have these particular stories come in make it that much more of an amazing event that we do.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
Anyway, I just had to throw that in there before we move from the Listapalooza topic to other parts of it.
Yeah, that was super important and inspiring. I loved it.
Yeah. That's the whole point of Listapalooza, a free listing challenge where you just come in and you're celebrated for what you can do. Some people are listing 70 things a day. Some people are listing 1 a day. But we love cheering each other on and hearing about your business and what you could do with it. It's great.
Yep. It's wonderful. Samantha, you got to tell people about your week, specifically your Saturday.
So Saturday. So we had one of the Listapalooza rooms, which we had like a dozen different people popping in and out of there. It was a good
fun.
mix on Saturday. So that started at like 10 or 11 a.m. And I had just enough time. We woke up early that morning. I was dog sitting, had to let some dogs out. And I said, well, I'm flipping through my garage sale group. And I was like, I don't have time to go. These garage sales are junk. It's a waste of time. And Bill goes, I want to buy you coffee and take you garage sailing. It's summertime. You deserve it.
Okay, hearts for Bill. Hearts for Bill.
All right. Hearts for Bill.
Hearts for Bill.
He's going to get a C-Chats title soon. He's going to be
Right.
like the next Mr. C-Chats. Like, we
He's
gotta be careful here.
He's going to be, and the other Mr. C-Chats.
Right. So we went get a latte. We stopped at the 2 garage sales, which I was right. They weren't great. I did get some stuff because, I mean, it's still me. I'm still going to offer them for a table of stuff. And then we passed, or, we come upon 2 estate sales that were not advertised, and they're run by family. And family estate sales go one way or the other. Either it's family that's like, I don't want to let go of any of Grammy's stuff, or they're like, get all of Mom's stuff out of here. We're selling the house. Let's do this.
Yeah.
They were both on the latter side of like, let's get it out of here. Let's make deals. So I got a bunch of stuff at the first one, some games, some fun things. I'm keeping this one. I'm not even selling it. This grabbing grasshoppers game. It's going to be a good time.
Okay, so my only rule behind you keeping that is our next reseller event. You have to bring it. You have to bring that to the next. So we'll have that and Penny Drop to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Okay, sounds good. That will be in Denver with us this fall. Okay,
there you go. There you go.
So got some good stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I brought like $20 with me, and I spent it at the first garage sale. So, and my husband just keeps saying, it's fine. Let's keep going. It's fine. We're coming down the road, and there's another estate sale sign. And I'm like, and Bill's not even in the right lane. He's not even, whatever. We go to it. I'm like, I got 5 minutes.
Did he pull a Pam Arnold?
That's exactly what I was thinking. That woman is the master of sales.
Whip across 2 lanes of traffic to hit that curve, man.
Luckily, traffic is a lot less here than it is in Sevierville, Tennessee. But so I walk in, this sweet lady, she was selling an estate for her neighbor. She's got all this beautiful stuff. I could have probably bought everything in that place, and she probably would have given me a very good deal on it, but I did not have time. But I walk into the kitchen as she's showing me where something is, and I see this hippopotamus. This is 18 inches long, 12 inches tall, and it is made out of slab ceramic. It is absolutely beautiful. It's purple glazed, for those of you who can't see it.
Speckled with little birdies on its back.
Yeah, it's got like a drip thing going on. It's beautiful. I gasp. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. As we're continuing walking, and she goes, do you love it? Do you love it? You can have it for $25. She had a $75 sticker on it. It's clearly worth more. She goes, I just want somebody to take it and love it, and for it to be loved, which I will make sure that somebody else loves it too. So I said, oh my gosh, I absolutely do love it. I told my husband right then, I was like, go to the house, grab the rest of my cash. Let's do this. And so I bought several more things there, but I listed that hippopotamus when I came back on Saturday for $949, which is a bit exorbitant because the other animals, there's no other hippos. These are like one-off, like art from this artist in, I don't even know where she is, Virginia, I think. And there's no other ones of these. The other large animals are listed for about $500, but I really like it and I want to stare at it for a while. So I went $900, $1,300 on Etsy because I priced up on Etsy, really hoping it sells there.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, girl.
Right?
Yes. So I'd never heard of it. Apparently they're called house hippos.
It's a trend. Having a house hippo in purple is even better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? And Polly was here, and she was sitting behind me during the come list with us here, and she's like, yeah, house hippos. They were all the rage. I'm like, oh, okay. I never heard of one, but
Yeah,
I've
Char
been
was
begging.
saying that too. I made sure I put
Yeah.
house hippo in the thing.
I've
the
been
title.
begging for a house hippo for years and years
You
and
want
years.
you want a legitimate hippopotamus.
Well, a pygmy, smaller one, but yeah, I want a real live one. Yeah, a baby, but I only want it to be a baby hippo.
This
Not,
is
I
like
don't
the
want.
size of a little baby hippo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be a Fiona.
Yeah.
So that
For
was
sure.
my fun. I listed, it was the first thing I listed. Everybody was teasing me because I was spending so much time researching it and looking at it and stuff. And I kept hugging it because it is beautiful. I love it. And I listed it and I was like, there we go. There's my quota. I'm good. Like, that's all I needed.
Yep. One happy hippo and we're good to go. Y'all, we were in that co-working room and Samantha was going and she was so excited. She just kept talking and talking and talking. And I finally muted. I looked at Nick and I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to get any work done because Samantha is so hyped up right now.
But I listed lots of stuff. But yeah, I was a talker on Saturday morning. It was a good day.
It was. So I had a similar situation where I did not meet my mastermind goal to be able to go to an estate sale. But all right, motivation, y'all.
This is so funny.
Which we
Sorry.
didn't find out until last night. She was supposed to meet it by Saturday.
I woke up Saturday morning and I just couldn't get my mojo going. And I was like, Nick, I know we need to list, like the room's going to open at 11. I want a coffee. Can we just go get a coffee and maybe just go to one place for 15 minutes just so, because I know and this is true story. Now this is real me. If I want energy, I need to go sourcing. If I find something, I get ramped up and then I get home and I'm excited about it. And I want to list. So I was
especially
like,
when you mix in a latte and then you go shopping and then you get a latte and then you're doing great.
And then I come home. And that's what I needed Saturday mornings. He was like, okay, we'll go. But he's like, I'm setting the timer and we'll go. Well, it was raining. So all the yard sales we thought were a bust. Well, we left our house, drove around, and the neighborhood yard sale, they were wide open. They were open. They had it all in the garage. And we walked in and Nick was like, oh, hold on, let's check it out. Walked in the door of the garage, and right on the ground was this amazing Mr. Christmas. I wasn't good about getting my pictures like Samantha. Mr. Christmas Disney magnetic skating rink. And it's on the big box and it's got all the little characters and it works. I actually listed it with video. I asked the lady, I said, how much for this? She goes, oh, $5, but it's got all the pieces and it works. I plugged it. It's 100% works. I'll take it. Meanwhile, Nick's over there thinking, I'm going to let me comp that. I'm like, no comps are necessary, but go ahead and comp it. Then he holds his thing up. He's like, $125. And I'm like, yeah, at a minimum.
Yeah.
So we just did that garage sale and we went and got a coffee, came back and boom, started listing.
Good job.
I was controlled, but I'm so glad we made that one little swing in because that was a banger.
Yeah, I love those little ice rings. I want to say that I've sold a Winnie the Pooh one of those as well, but
there is a Winnie the Pooh one. Yeah, there is. One.
Nice. Wow.
I'm pretty sure I sold a broken one at one point still sold it for like $50. Like
it's not surprising. In fact, I think maybe your comp was the one we saw for a broken one that sold for $50.
Right.
That was a comp that popped up because there was one actually.
But yeah, I didn't do any of that. Polly and I were here working, and I got on. We hopped on the co-working room, and I was like so jealous. I'm like, we should have gone and got coffee and done that. Like, look at how excited you guys are. We're just in the basement, just working our, just working away. It was cool to see all those neat finds, though. But I don't have anything exciting.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot. Nick was excited because he found a lot of, we buy Tommy Bahama often if we see it at yard sales because it's such a good bread and butter for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know, like I talked to Johnny at Frizzy Finds. They're very, very picky about their Tommy Bahama. I'm like, ours is just a good bread and butter. I don't know. Yeah. I sell Tommy Bahama all the time. And
you have so much Tommy Bahama. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just
in fact, I sold one a couple weeks ago and I'm like looking at the shipping queue and I just assumed it was yours. It was actually mine. Like the day went by and I'm like, I wonder why she hasn't shipped that. And then I was like, oh shoot, it's mine. I better ship that.
I'm also picky about Tommy Bahama. Like I picked up and sold some a few weeks ago, but it was a woman's skirt, and then I also had a shirt, but they were both linen and they're fun prints. Like, but you can find a lot more than I can too.
Right.
Well, that's true. We're in the right area for it, but they had a ton.
linen country there. Like I only want to wear linen when I go down south from now on. That is the fabric.
I love finding linen. Linen is one of my favorite, but I love the linen and finding silk Tommy Bahama. I love too, but I'll buy any of it as long as condition is well, because it sells for me. It's not a huge banger. You know, if I get the new with tags, which I have gotten where I've gone to the outlets when they've been 90% off on big and tall sizes, those I can sell for $100 plus. But typically, you know, you're $30, $50 depending somewhere in there, but it sells. It's just a good bread and butter. But they had a lot there. So Nick was going through grabbing all the Tommy Bahama, really nice, like those dry fit shorts. So the quick dry shorts, a couple of pairs of those that looked like brand new. And I was like, oh, we'll get those right up. It's summertime, people buy them. So I'm in here and I'm kind of unpacking some of the bags of hard goods. And he comes walking in and I look at him. What's he got on? Tommy Bahama shorts. So Mr. C Chats ended up taking a couple of the pairs of shorts and a pair of pants that the guy, whoever did them, they were all his size. And so I was like, they look great on you. Take them. They're yours.
New wardrobe for Mr. C Chats.
Yep. So he got a new
We'll just call him Tommy C Chats from now.
Tommy C Chats. Yeah.
We got to save Mr. C Chats. We tried calling him Mr. Side Sauce or something the other day, and he was like, I have a nickname already.
Who was that said he was my side sauce? That was funny.
That was a hilarious conversation.
I know. Oh my goodness. Side sauce. Yep. Anyway, but it was a good weekend, and I'm proud of everybody who's participating in the Listapalooza, because everybody worked hard and did great things. And even Lori, our happy picker, shout out Lori, said, I don't list on the weekends, so my numbers will come in on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. And lo and behold, she listed, I think, maybe 14 items yesterday.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
Oh.
You know what happens, Lori? I know you're listening, so I'm just going to tell you what happens. If you're like me, I always said I don't work on weekends. And then it slowly creeps into your life. And then the next thing you know, I work full time on weekends.
So Becky Postma, a new person, she's actually one that's local to me, and this is her first Listapalooza. She had set a goal of 40, and she was very like nonchalant about that. And she's like, well, I hope that maybe she's already exceeded that. She's like at 50 something listings already. We still have 2 days left. So yeah, it's great. I love it. So all right. We got to talk about our topic, though. We can't just talk about Listapalooza all the time.
Well, I think that it's time we hop into this and we discuss this thing called feedback.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Consignment Chats. This is Molly, and I'll be joined by my co-hosts Libby and Samantha.
Boom, boom, boom.
I know.
Let's start with eBay feedback. Like, we're going to talk about a couple different kinds of feedback we get, but let's start with the eBay feedback, because there's been some pretty wild stuff going on in the community. People getting their panties all in a bunch over it. Like, let's get into this.
Right.
We've all gotten bad feedback, right?
I just want to tell you that bad feedback sometimes can make you go, ah.
I'm sorry for those that aren't on for those that are on podcast. Can't see what she's doing. Oh Lord. Okay. Yes.
Anyway.
We have all had feedback. I personally like looking at all my feedback because the majority of it is positive.
Right?
So let's just start with that. Like there's so much of it that's positive. I look at my feedback like every day. I'm like, ooh, what'd they say about me now? And I share it with Bill now that he's my shipping manager. I'm like, babe, that bowl got there. They said it was very well packed. And he's like, oh,
Right?
thanks. Like,
I know Nick loves that when he sends the breakables. He's always at me. Have we gotten feedback yet? Have we?
So,
And you tell him yes, and it was well
yeah.
packed. And then all of a sudden they're walking a little taller,
Yeah.
whoa, was it?
Little validation there. So Vanessa, the diabetic reseller, had said at one point, maybe it was like 2 years ago, she said, if I'm having a bad day, I'll go and read my feedback.
Yes.
Oh, there you
And
go.
I thought that's brilliant. Like, what a wonderful idea. Like, look at all these good things you've done. Look at all this positive validation.
Yes.
All right. So we got all that. We're feeling good. And then a negative, scathing, ugly piece of feedback comes in. We've all been
there's
there.
clearly like a ton of emotions that can hit you when you get negative feedback. I mean, you can, and I think a lot of times when you get that negative feedback, it really depends on where are you at that moment in time mentally when you receive that feedback. Where are you mentally at that moment? Because sometimes I can get downright mad and be like, well, is my like knee-jerk reaction. Like, and then I think about it and I'm like, okay, stop, silly.
Yeah, it used to really like absolutely 100% derail me. Like I would just spiral, like everything I've done is wrong. This person is a jerk. How could they say this about me? I just don't understand. That's it. I'm quitting reselling. Like a spiral, bad spiral. Yeah. And I'm going to get a hold of eBay and I'm going to have them remove it. And I'm going to, I'm going to do all these things. And I'm going to go in the Facebook groups and I'm going to post and I'm going to rant and rave. Yeah.
No. All right. So first step, take a beat. Give yourself a minute. Just like we say when you get angry customer messages or any other type of customer service, something rather that frustrates you, give it a minute. You don't have to respond immediately. I mean, you don't have to respond at all, but you don't.
In fact, I highly recommend do not ever respond immediately.
Right. Yes. So take a minute or an overnight or whatever you need to calm yourself down. Go through and read all the positives that are on there about how fast your shipping was and how great a seller you are, and just give it a minute. Because that knee-jerk reaction, just like in our messages and any other customer service, can make a worse impact than their feedback to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I have to add this because I read a post recently that, and I'm not going to call them out on who they were, but somebody shared some feedback on Instagram that they received and their response. And I think we have to remember, no matter what size you are, maybe you're just doing it as a hobby or part-time and you're like, well, I can respond this way or that way. And you give it back to them in a snarky way or in a negative way. The downfall to that is if you want to build your business and establish it as a true business, that's not the kind of customer service you want representing who you are as a valid business. So think about that. Even as a hobby seller, always respond with respect. Even if they don't respond with respect, if they don't start it with respect or don't end it with respect, always respond with respect. Because every time you do that, remember that other people can read your response and that could end a buyer for you.
I mean, I read people's feedback, and if I see that they've responded and if I'm buying something on eBay, even if I'm buying something anywhere and they have feedback, I'll check it. And if they've responded to a buyer in a snarky or mean or aggressive way, I absolutely will not buy from them. If I see they have negative feedback and they've responded in a professional, helpful manner, I'm like, all right, this is a good seller. You got my business. Like you're taking care of your customers, no matter how difficult they are.
Right.
So, and I always think about, Molly, our experience with the Airbnb in Maine.
In Maine, I was thinking the same thing.
Yes.
I was thinking the same thing. So I had made a reservation for an Airbnb in Maine when we did a trip a couple of summers ago. And I looked at a little of the feedback, but didn't dig deep. And then 2 days or so before we were making it to that particular location, I pulled it back up to look at the house and started looking through the feedback again. And then started reading this gentleman's responses to some of the issues. And I started reading them out loud to Libby and Nick and Avery. And I was like, we're not staying here. Heck no, I don't want to have anything to do with this homeowner, like at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I canceled and found a new place, and we walked away from it 2 days before we were supposed to be there because he responded to all negative comment, and the comments weren't even put negatively, but they were maybe even a concern, but his responses were so snarky and gross that I was like, I don't want to give this gentleman a penny of my money. No way, no how. Like, that's not who I want to do business with. I'm going to also say this. If you are a reseller and you share your negative experiences and your negative responses on your social media or wherever you share it with other resellers, I want to ask you to stop and think, is that the kind of mentor you want to be to somebody new coming into the business?
Right.
Is that what you want to teach a new reseller? I mean, I think of my son. He's 24 years old. He's gotten big time into vintage clothing, sports cars. Right now, not in a reselling mindset, but for himself. But he may at some point want to venture into this business. I don't want him reading people on social media that respond to their customers and shoppers that way. Because if he decides as a young entrepreneur to jump into this business, I want him to be hearing positive ways to learn how to respond to that kind of negativity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so hard because like social media and YouTube and all that stuff, like they incentivize the interactions, the thumbs up, the thumbs down, the clicks, the comments, the whatever. So people put on this clickbait, as we call it, and they put on these negative things, and everybody has a comment when it comes to these controversial, snarky, whatever. So it gets them lots of clicks and lots of engagement. However, just like you said, that's not what we should be teaching people. So then this new reseller comes into an eBay group or onto this person's page or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, I really hate when they think that that's normal. Oh, this is normal. Oh, they get a lot of like eBay is just filled with negativity. eBay's filled with negative customers. It's not. But because social media is showing us so much negativity, so many bad feedbacks, and so many that new people are getting scared off, or they think that it's appropriate to handle it the way these people are doing, or it's not. Yeah. It's not a good representation of what eBay is.
Yeah, I want to take this back a beat. You get the negative feedback, you take a beat, but then what I want everybody to really consider is there any validity to this comment? Right? I think that's the first thing you have to consider. Did you make a mistake? Is it something that you need to own? Yeah, it's hard to own our mistakes, but like, is it something that might be, slightly legitimate or legitimate? And like, is it something you can improve in your process? Is it genuine negative feedback? Like, you have to look at that really hard and say, because that's how you're going to improve, and that's how you're going to grow and own it. Because some of it's going to be off the rails, like not right. And others is going to be like,
for the love of all that is good, own it if it's you. Please.
Yes.
And I've had both. Like, I've had some off the wall things, but I've also had some things I've had to own, apologize for, and change my business to better, better serve the customer.
Yeah. You change and grow from it. It's a learning lesson. And that's how we become top rated sellers with, great feedback, good sales, is to learn and grow from those things.
Do not be afraid to look at it and own it if you made a mistake. We were all making mistakes all the time.
And I want to tell you this. I think 100%, Libby, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, 100% of the time that we've responded to negative feedback when it's been our mistake and we have owned it, the response back has been wonderful.
I've gotten like long-term customers from negative feedback and responding in a positive manner. And the next steps to that, like, you can respond to the feedback. You can request that the buyer, if once you address it, revise the feedback. Like on eBay, there are certain, steps you can take. You can ask eBay to remove the feedback, but you can't get too hung up on this. Like, how much time are you wasting? Think of it as a positive customer service, like, think of it as an opportunity to showcase your excellent customer service. Think of that negative feedback, like just reframe it in your mind. Think of it like that. You can do all the things. You can ask the buyer to revise. You can ask eBay to remove it, but that's not going to work all the time. So just think of it as an opportunity.
All right. So Libby, I want you to put your Mel Robbins of the reselling world hat on, because I want to take this to a little bit of a different level. I know we've been doing some good book club books, but I want to talk about that emotional part of it, and that more, let's deeper dive into this emotionally.
Yeah. All right. First of all, I want to say having compassion for the person that left that negative feedback is probably an awesome place to start. Think about, like, you don't know just like they don't know what's going on in your life. They don't know what's going on. They might be having a bad day. They might just be, off the rails. They have some compassion for them, kind of stop to consider, what, somebody that would write something like this must be in a really bad place, a really negative place, and have some empathy and compassion if you can for that person. And then let them theory. That's our book club book. Yeah.
Pop it up there and show the people.
There we go. Let them theory. You know what? Let them. They obviously need it to do that because they're in a really bad space. So, once you do that, that will really help you move along. But then the other thing is, I want to make sure that you're not absorbing this as a failure. Like, don't be thinking of, I got this negative feedback, I'm a failure. I said in the beginning of this episode that I would spiral. I would be like, I'm done reselling. I can't do anything right. I absolutely don't do that or even close to that anymore. But so, just really don't absorb that as a failure. Look at it as exactly what it is: feedback. Maybe it's feedback that's legitimate and you get the opportunity to improve your business. Maybe it's feedback that's not legitimate and, you have empathy for that person. But either way, it is not a reflection on you and your failure, because if you were doing nothing, that would be the failure. If you weren't forging ahead and doing what you need to do and running your business, that would be the failure. You are successful. You are moving forward despite negative feedback. Yeah, that's what I got. Was that all right?
That's perfect. That's perfect. So one of my last negative feedbacks was about a watch, and I had to learn from it. I was so mad at first because it was clearly stated that it was a used watch, did not work. Not, I don't change the batteries. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't look good pictures, close up, showed the scratches, showed the whatever. This person told me that it was dirty and disgusting and blah, blah, blah. And it also didn't come with the box that was highlighted in the main photo. Well, this item did not have a box, but I had just started using Photo Room and their fancy little AI things, and it was in like a field of flippin' flowers, you guys. It was one of those cheesy ones with like a sunset in the background, because it was a Wizard of Oz one, and so it made it look like it was on a yellow brick road somewhere, and it had like a little platform under it in the picture. No, nothing else in this picture was believable, but they thought that the platform it was sitting on was a box that it was included with, even though that didn't say. So it was like, okay, this person's clearly ridiculous. I clearly need to stop using certain backgrounds and be careful as to and I had to learn from that and then just let it go. And that feedback was not something that I needed to ask eBay to remove. Like so many of the people in Facebook, on YouTube, oh my gosh, eBay doesn't remove feedback anymore. eBay doesn't do this. eBay doesn't do that. That's because those people are calling eBay 3 times a week. You shouldn't even be calling eBay once a month. Like there should not be that many issues. It's okay. Right. Calm down.
I just want to say one thing. Hold on. I need a Wes commercial. Is it Wes that does the good commercial voices? Wes, join us next week as we discuss AI in your listings.
Right? A whole nother problem.
So I loved the way, like you said that, and don't remove it. But the other part of that I absolutely love is that was a learning opportunity for, how you should and shouldn't use AI, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew, right? Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought? It didn't come with the flowers. Like that.
I expected a yellow brick road to be installed in my driveway. Like, what the heck, Samantha?
I need the munchkin. Yeah, it was not. Yeah. But I didn't need to have eBay to remove it. And that's the thing with feedback and a lot of other stuff lately is there's so much negativity. If I were to get a feedback that needed to be removed, eBay would probably remove it for me because they would look and see that I have not asked for anything to be removed in a long time, 1.5 years, 2 years, I don't know. And it probably wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not that big of a deal. Negative feedback, move on, look at the opportunity, and just keep moving forward. Yeah. What about other kinds of feedback other than eBay? Because we get feedback all the time. Not just on eBay, on other platforms, in real life, on our YouTube videos, on all sorts of stuff we get feedback.
Our Patreon.
In our Patreon.
Sometimes we have to adjust our faces. Mostly me. Right? Mostly me. Because sometimes that feedback comes real fast, real quick when you weren't expecting it. Always just take a breath and take a beat.
I think you just have to, I'm a processor, so I always process anything like that anyway, because I don't ever want to give an emotional knee-jerk reaction to anything, because once you do, it's hard to retract that. You put it out there, you can't pull it back, right? So I'm always one of those that breathes. I always breathe before I react. If it's emotional, now I'll sit here and talk to you all day long and comment back and forth. But if it's something that is an emotional topic that makes me feel a certain way, then I'm going to sit on it, no matter where it comes from. If it comes from Facebook,
same.
Poshmark, my friend next door, just take it in and sit on it and then decide. I have this rule in my own life that if something upsets me in any way, I sit on it. And if I'm still thinking about it 2 to 3 days later, then I know I need to confront the situation.
Then I'm just waiting for the phone call. Libby, I have to talk to you about something you did.
Yes, this has happened. But 98.9% of the time, I thought I'd throw some random percentage out there today.
Yeah, why not?
That's what I do.
By the next day, I'm not even thinking about it again.
Right.
Because it typically is not as big of a deal as you think it is when you hear it. And a lot of times, like I said earlier, it's less about what they were saying and more about this headspace you were in at the time you were receiving that information. They don't always mean to put it out the way you're receiving it. It's because of where you were personally when you were receiving it. Right. So that's where taking the time to process is the best advice I have to give to anybody in any situation.
The power of the pause. The power of the pause. Absolutely.
So, I think that's true with receiving feedback and for giving feedback. If some people, including myself, would just take a flip and pause before they gave said feedback, then maybe it would be relayed a little bit better as well. And that's me. My husband will tell you that all day long. Every time we get in an argument, it's because I had some sort of tone about me and I just needed to take a deep breath and explain what I meant instead of being snarky and whatever. So yes, it can go both ways. Take a freaking minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm blessed because nobody can read my expressions. So
Ever.
nobody
Ever.
can read me. I should be an excellent poker player, right?
You
not.
you
Yeah.
really should. You're the most unreadable human being I've ever met.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I can take the power of the pause quite easily because people usually don't know either way. Samantha, your expressions are like literally just. I know
Written
exactly
clearly
what
on the wall.
Samantha feels
So
about
bad.
something immediately.
I will
Written
roll
clearly on the wall.
roll my eyes it's just who I am. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
learning.
I
to
mean,
take a minute.
I like that because I know exactly what you're thinking and how you're feeling, which is why I can't stand doing Zoom, like
Yeah.
doing meetings without a camera, is because then I can't
Right.
tell.
Right. Yes.
Meanwhile, Libby, your camera is really not necessary.
It doesn't help us.
Just a
one
black
bit.
screen from now
we just,
on,
we
right?
don't really even need to see you because we don't know what the heck you're thinking, whether we see you or not. Look, I've been best friends with Libby for umpteen years, and I still can't read her. There are sometimes I can. Sometimes I read her
Every
the
once
other
in a
day,
while, you get it right. Yeah.
but
Every once in a
typically
while.
I cannot. I know we'll be in a meeting, and Samantha will be like, "Well, did you not like that idea, Libby? Did I?"
Still,
offend?" She's like,
all the
"Oh my God,
time.
no! I love it. I love that idea." Oop.
That's
Sorry,
okay
that was-
because my whole life people have said that. I get that. It's not you guys or a lack of connection with you guys.
Right, we know that.
I love sometimes when we're like, Libby, how are you feeling? Like, what's your reaction to that? And even she's like, I don't know. Like, what? How are we supposed to know? This is crazy.
I need time. I got to take a pause, man.
She's pausing and processing. Pause and process. Well, I hope that people feel good about what we talked about today. And I know we all are different people and handle things. I mean, as we just said, the three of us are very different in how we facially process things and emotionally process things. But I hope that you all really think and listen, especially about the pause and rethinking and trying to put yourself in other people's shoes. And as Libby mentioned, and I tell my husband this all the time, driving down the road with road rage with him, you don't know what's happening with the car in front of you. You don't know what that person is going through at that moment. You don't know what's coming from the other end. They may have just had to put their dog down or lost a family member, or you don't know. So you just do the best you can be and be the best person you can be. And your business is going to soar.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
And like I tell my husband when he's driving, if he's driving poorly, I had to interrupt you somehow, right? If he's driving poorly, I say, what if there is a new driver watching you right now and he thinks that's the proper way to drive? It's the same with eBay. What if there are new eBayers watching you and they think that's the proper way to eBay? Be mindful.
What kind of eBay parent do you want to be? What kind of eBay chicklings do you want to raise?
Yep.
All right, ladies. Until next time, speaking of eBay, I have my eBay open cup.
Cheers. Oh, I have a messy cup.
Thank you for joining Libby, Molly, and Samantha, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we grow your reselling business. For all things Consignment Chats, visit us at consignmentchats.com and join our free private communities on Facebook and/or Patreon.